Thank you, Annie and Dave, for that fantastic presentation. You're a hard act to follow. I'm Will Callaghan from Cumbria Council, and we are LocalGov Drupal. And I'm joined hopefully by Melanie from Waltham Forest Council. And we're going to tell you a bit about our software and how the local digital declaration has helped us. And also that the badge there is my cat. I'll tell you more about him as we go. So first off, if you don't know very much about us, the problem is probably one that you all recognise. So we are nearly 400 councils across the UK, and we all need to publish web content. We all have .gov sites, and every so often, every 3 to 5 years, we have to rebuild these sites, and that costs money and time, and often we don't have that money. And at the same time, you know, we're all doing this and we're not really swapping notes, although that is starting to change, and hopefully we're a part of that. Our product, our service, I guess, is LocalGov Drupal, and you can go and download it today. It's on github.com/LocalGov Drupal, and you can see here that it's made up of component parts like events and theme and services and so on. I'll explain what those all are. But if you want to go, if you know a bit of Drupal, go and have a go. It's all detailed how you do it. And it's made of a kit of parts. So you go download Drupal 9. Hopefully you know what Drupal is. And then if you want the whole of what we do, you need to download services, and then on top of that you add other components as you like, and add a theme on top. But there's nothing to stop you taking one of the components in the middle there. So if you just wanted directories, you could take that. If you just wanted step by step, you could take that and add it to your own Drupal platform. Lots of sites have been built. So I think Dave and Annie mentioned the Croydon website is LocalGov Drupal powered. Also Lambeth, Westminster, many more sites launching over the next few months. And we all share common code. The themes are slightly different, but the architecture underneath is the same. I added this slide about 2 minutes ago to illustrate that we're responsive. So during the lockdown, the Croydon team, of which I was a part, built this feature called service updates. Long page of too much information for people. So we said, okay, well, how are we going to make this easier for users to get hold of? Designed in-house by Croydon, conceptualized by the team, written by the team there. So we're in complete control of what we were doing, and that tested very well. So we're very happy. I think the reason why we're here today is to sort of shout loud about our love for the local digital declaration, because we basically wouldn't have happened had the declaration not been put in place. We had some code already. So I worked with Annie at Brighton Council. We had a website. We were given a clean slate to go and build a website. Croydon Council needed a website. And we thought, well, why don't we share? And it's thanks to the two folks preceding me that we were able to get an agreement with Brighton and push ahead. And all the support that we've had from these teams is absolutely amazing. But the thing about having that code, that's not a distribution. That's not a Drupal distribution. It doesn't talk about the ways of working, how councils join, how we make decisions, and the declaration has provided all that for us. We've been funded 3 times, and I'll briefly describe the phases. So we had a discovery a couple of years ago. Do councils want to share Drupal code? The answer was yes. And the phase we've finished more recently, an alpha was saying, okay, well, we want to share code. What specifically? What standards do we want? How do we make this thing flexible? And how do we decide what gets included and not? The phase that we're on right now is beta. It finishes at the end of September. It's about adding the features that we didn't have time to get to. And there's a few of those. And how do we scale? We're 12 councils now. What about when we're 20 councils? And how do we pay for ourselves ultimately? You know, these are big questions that we're answering now. I'm going to briefly mention the badges. We picked them because they're milestones in our project. So in Discovery, our delivery manager, Finn, I don't know if he's on the call, wore a pink, it was the phase where everybody was wearing hats during lockdown, and he wore a pink cowboy hat, so that's quite funny. And then the second badge is my cat, Stobbinge, who kept popping up during calls during lockdown. We've all had to go through it, and we've been joined by our pets, and that's one of my cats. And the third patch, we don't quite know. We're seeing what happens in the rest of the project, and we'll pick something appropriate. I won't read this out, but this is one of our developers who's also a core maintainer of Drupal. So he's in the central team that does this, and it's, you know, this is the way we need to work, basically. Where we are now. So we are 12 councils and growing strong, lots of expressions of interest, which is great. I'm personally working for Cumbria now, and you can go and visit the Cumbria website. It's needs work. Let's face it. It's 13 plus years old, and we saw the opportunity to use LocalGov Drupal to do something about that. So that's it. Okay. So these are screenshots from the alpha which we've built, which is hopefully going live on the 11th of August. We took one section of content and completely rewrote it. We used all the LocalGov Drupal components, and we did a design layer. So, you know, it's more work on content than it is on dev, and rightfully we're spending more time on content design. I think that project was about 25 grand altogether, mostly content. So it's brought the cost of this sort of thing right down. I'll talk briefly about how we collaborate, but there's probably a whole other talk on this. So we have two kind of information sharing groups, the product group and the technical group, which generally meet once a month. And that's all the product managers and all the developers sit in both, you know, those groups. But the decisions are actually made by the circles on the outside. So if we want to build something new, say formed, we'll make a working group for that. And the people who are interested get involved. One of those projects is happening right now. It's being led by Tom Steele in Croydon. It's going great guns already. Councils can come and choose to be part of these things if they want to. If they don't want to, that's fine. But, you know, they're open and transparent, and they're there for people to join if they want to. Very briefly, the benefits, cost savings, collaboration makes us better at what we do. We build things more often. We build things once rather than many times. And the content formats, they're accessible, responsive. We've just got AA for our base theme, WCAG AA, so that's good. It's all good. A quote, which I won't read to you, but from a web project manager who saved lots and lots of money and did his project faster. I'll hand over to Melanie, who's from Waltham Forest as one of our partner councils, and she'll tell you more about their experience.
Hi, I'm Melanie Reed. Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late, a few technical issues, but I'm here now, which is good. So I think the main, I just want to talk through some of the benefits for us. So we joined in the spring, summer last year, initially just kind of pulled down the code from Git and had a look at it and had a play with it, and then actually kind of formally joined more in the autumn time. And really it's saved us months and months of development time, which has meant that my developers, I've been able to focus them on extra benefits that we wouldn't have necessarily built in our first iteration of the site. So we've done a whole piece around enhancing the events section and how the events work, and we've able to feed that back into the core code. So we're in the process of working with the team to kind of move that across. We've also really focused on search, so we've done some really nice enhanced stuff in Solar around predictive text and kind of taking people straight to the page rather than having to go to search results page, and done some a taxonomy behind the scenes. Again, all of that we're going to feed back in. If anyone wants to use that, they can, if they're looking to use Solar, we can share that, and at the moment we're going through that process as well. We've also led on one of the work streams around content lifecycle. One of my teams led on that, and we've, you know, that's another thing we would have had to build ourselves, but we've kind of collaborated with councils across the group and got their feedback as well and input. So that's been a really great benefit for us because we've done more than we had originally planned to. I think the other thing is oh.
My buttons aren't working.
No, that's
sorry.
all right. Don't
We're
worry,
working
that's fine.
earlier either. Sorry.
Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. So we also have used features that we hadn't considered. So one of them is guided processes, and I'll show you a demo of what we've been doing with that. And that was in the box. We hadn't even really thought of using that as a process, and we're like, oh, actually, this would really work for us. It's been a really wonderful experience working in collaboration with other councils. We've kind of learnt loads. We've really improved our kind of agile working methodologies as a team, and we've kind of, you know, you can bounce ideas off other people and you're not kind of working in a vacuum, which is really fantastic. And I mean, the knowledge sharing is great. We can sling a question into Slack and there's there's 10 other councils out there, so someone will have an answer or a suggestion, or they've had a similar problem, and we can kind of share that, which has been really fantastic. So I was just going to show, so this is an example of where this was how our current primary schools application for process is. It's pretty impenetrable. You have to kind of, I mean, the page stretches even further than what I could get on that little, but I tried to kind of squish in what I could. And what we've moved over is to using the guided processes, which again, it's just out of the box vanilla functionality, and we've kind of it's a really fantastic way of guiding someone through the process of doing the school application. It's much easier to work with. You've kind of broken it down. We've also looked at our copy and how we've reduced that massively. But yeah, that was just there. We didn't have to build it, which is fantastic. So, I mean, some of the other things that we've been involved in, we've done some blogging. So there's the LocalGov Drupal blog. Go and have a look at that. I'm doing one at the moment on search, so I'll publish that soon. And we do sort of show and tells as well if there's a lot of interest in some of the blogs. And then we've also got a survey that a lot of my team have already contributed to, but I think we're really keen to get councils who aren't currently involved to take part in that survey, to understand what some of the barriers are as to why you'd want to get involved and how we can make it easier, and sort of how you might want to collaborate in the future as we grow as well, because there's that sort of challenge as we get bigger. And so that's for that. And so that's it from me. And so I don't know if you've got any questions for Will or I.